Hey everyone, this is my second reveal, and I would like to tell you a little bit more about myself. Most of the stuff in this video are things that have shaped me as both a person and as a leader. First of all, I'd like to talk about my family. I have a great mom, an amazing stepdad, 3 half-sisters, a half-brother, a brother-in-law, a stepsister, and a 2-year-old nephew. Crazy big family, I know. Out of my siblings, though, I'm the baby. Or, as I like to say, my mom's favorite. We all, on the other hand, share the same mom, which is why we're all half-siblings. We all have different dads. My dad, on the other hand, he lives in Tennessee, so I don't get to see him as much. Growing up, though, I always looked forward to going to Tennessee every year, and I could see him and my grandparents. One year, when I was 8 years old, I went to Tennessee to visit them, but my father was nowhere to be found. No one, including his parents, had any clue where he was, but he was an alcoholic at the time. 3 years went by with no contact, no phone calls, and still no idea where he went. As a second grader, I had to struggle with the fear of not knowing where my dad was, if he was dead or in jail. These thoughts came to me every single night. One night when I went to a father-daughter dance, my mom ended up having to go with me because my dad was nowhere to be found. I'm thankful for her, though, because she gave me experiences that no one else would have. I got to dance with my mom all night, and I was proud of that. I was, on the other hand, jealous, though, because I had to watch every other girl dance with their dad, and it made me jealous that everyone had a dad, and mine seemed to not care. Night after night, though, I cried, and my mom always comforted me. She worried a lot about me during this time, and thought that I might be struggling with depression. After these 3 years, though, I went to see my grandparents for Christmas, and they gave me an unexpected surprise. My dad was there. He was back, and he told me that he was done drinking, and that while he was gone, he was going from bar to bar in Indiana. I just remember crying in his arms for half an hour, both happy tears and angry tears. I was happy that he was back and that he was alive and living, but I was also very angry that he left in the first place. I struggled with the thought that, how could he leave his only daughter? Did he even love me? For years after that, our relationship was never the same. I visited him almost yearly, but it was hard to talk to him on the phone. It was hard to call him Dad, and it was especially hard to say that I loved him. I was hurt, and I let that destroy our relationship for years. It also gave me a lot of trust issues. In the last 2 years, though, my father and I have grown closer. I have been able to call him Dad and tell him I love him. We now try to call each other at least once a month, but in the back of my mind, I always think that someday he's going to relapse and disappear, but I finally learned to trust him again and not let that get in the way of us having a relationship. I went through 3 years of struggling with something that most children never even get exposure to, but it has definitely changed me in becoming someone who is more independent and someone who's also more inclusive. I went through feeling like I was abandoned, and I would never want someone else to feel like that. Therefore, I love to help other people and make them feel loved. But those years I will never be able to forget. But they have allowed me to become the person that I am today, and I'm thankful for that. Secondly, I want to talk about one of my hobbies. At the end of middle school, my mom and my stepdad forced me to take hunter safety. While in the class, they introduced me to trap shooting, which shortly became my favorite hobby. That summer, I ended up joining a trap shooting team with my mom and my stepdad. Our family bonded over that sport, which was a weird sport to bond over as a family. But during 8th grade, my high school ended up starting a trap shooting team, and I knew that I wanted to join. And when freshman year rolled around, I signed up for the team immediately. Being one of the 5 females on the team, though, I always felt like there was so much more pressure, like I had to prove myself. I ended up being voted captain both my junior and senior years, though, which not only added pressure, but also made it to be a very stressful sport. As a captain, not only did I have to lead the team, but people looked at me like I had to be the best one, which can stress a person out pretty easily, but it also pushed me to my limits. I felt like I was letting everyone down all the time, though, because I wasn't the best shooter on the team. I wasn't close to being worse, but I wasn't close to being the best either. I ended up snapping at my co-captain one day because the stress got to me so much. But my coach took the time to talk to me about it, and he helped me to realize that a leader doesn't have to be the best. I could have been the worst one on the team, and I was voted in because people looked up to me and thought that I would be the best to lead the team. I also feared that because I was not the best shooter, people would not take me seriously. And being a girl didn't help either. What I realized, though, was that during my junior year, being a captain meant way more. It meant that I was there to support my teammates, to keep track of their improvements, to give pep talks when my teammates had a rough week. I was also there to encourage each one and get to know them on a personal level. That year is the year that I realized that being a leader meant so much more than being the best. It meant that I was there to genuinely care for my teammates. I also never let them put me down for being a woman in a trap shooting sport. Equality is best, right? I think that these few experiences have helped to shape the person and leader I am today. I know there will be a lot more experiences in my life where I'll have to face my fears, whether they are giant fears or small fears, but I also know that I can conquer anything that comes in my way. I hope that you all enjoyed hearing about my second reveal and hearing about things that I typically don't share with other people. I hope to get to know you all better through your videos.